Breaking. King Charles just demolished Sadiq Khan with words so brutal that London's mayor stormed out of a royal reception. The king called Khan's policies a betrayal of London's heritage. 3 cabinet ministers gasped audibly. And what happened next has plunged Britain's capital into complete chaos. Westminster insiders say Khan is finished. If you want to see how London's most explosive royal confrontation ends, hit that subscribe button right now because this changes everything. Here's what sparked the unprecedented royal intervention. 3 days ago, Khan announced his most radical plan yet: 0 private vehicles in central London by 2027. His exact words were chilling. The age of car ownership in our capital is over. But King Charles wasn't having it. The monarch broke protocol instead. At yesterday's Commonwealth reception, he publicly confronted Khan in front of 200 dignitaries. Britain hasn't seen anything like this since Victoria. The tension had been building for weeks. Palace staff reported Charles studying Khan's transport policies late into the night. He'd circled passages, made notes, compiled statistics. The king was preparing for war. The confrontation was volcanic. Charles, normally reserved and diplomatic, abandoned all pretense of neutrality. "Mr. Mayor," he said, voice cutting through the ballroom, "your policies aren't just misguided. They're destroying the very fabric of London life." Khan's face turned white. The king continued, each word precise and devastating. "Pensioners can't visit hospitals. Small businesses are collapsing. Working families are being priced out of their own city." According to Lord Pemberton, who stood 3 feet away, Khan tried to interrupt. Charles raised his hand. "I'm not finished. You've turned London into a playground for the wealthy while ordinary Britons suffer. That's not leadership, Mr. Khan. That's betrayal." The room fell silent. Khan's hands were shaking. Then came the moment that ended everything. "Your Majesty doesn't understand modern urban planning," Khan shot back. "Wrong answer." Charles stepped closer. "I understand perfectly. I understand you've collected £2.3 billion in ULEZ fines while London burns." The king pulled out a document. "I have here testimony from 17 London food banks. Donations are down 60% because volunteers can't afford to drive. While you spent £400,000 redesigning your office." Khan stammered something about environmental necessity. Charles cut him off. "Don't lecture me about the environment while your policies force nurses to choose between getting to work and feeding their children. Meanwhile, elderly Londoners who built this city are trapped in their homes like prisoners. Margaret Davidson, an 82-year-old widow from Lewisham, can't visit her husband's grave anymore. The cemetery is inside the expanded ULEZ zone. She can't afford the daily charge. Her pension is £189 a week, while Khan's transport budget includes £47,000 for his personal photographer. We're talking first-class flights, luxury hotels, champagne receptions. The contrast is so obscene, so morally bankrupt, that even Labour MPs are calling it disgusting. Working-class communities that survived the Blitz are being economically cleansed. Cab drivers, delivery workers, tradesmen, all forced out by Khan's green extremism. But wait! Because Khan's own convoy uses diesel vehicles, 3 Range Rovers, all exempt from his own restrictions. The hypocrisy makes your blood boil. Veterans who fought for this country can't afford to drive to their regimental reunions, but Khan spent £1.8 million on cycle lanes that nobody uses. The man has lost touch with reality completely. Here's what's truly sickening. While Khan preaches about saving the planet, his own carbon footprint is enormous. 47 international trips in 2 years. Private jets to climate conferences. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Meanwhile, Steve Patterson, a plumber from Barking, had to close his business after 40 years. Couldn't afford the charges to reach his customers. His son had to drop out of university. His wife is on antidepressants. But Khan posted Instagram photos from Davos, sipping champagne with billionaires who fly private jets daily. But then something unprecedented happened that nobody saw coming. King Charles shattered 7 decades of royal neutrality with calculated precision. At the Guildhall ceremony yesterday afternoon, he delivered what palace insiders call his most political speech ever. London belongs to all Britons. Charles declared with unmistakable fury. Not just those who can afford electric vehicles and congestion charges. The audience erupted. Standing ovation from business leaders. Khan sat frozen, humiliated on live television. Palace sources revealed Charles had been monitoring Khan's policies for months. The tipping point was last week's announcement about banning all diesel vehicles by 2026. The king's own staff can't afford to work at Buckingham Palace anymore. Royal protection officers are quitting because of commute costs. His Majesty reached breaking point, one senior courtier admitted. The optics are catastrophic for Khan. When the King of England publicly condemns you, your political career is over. Charles didn't stop. There, he met privately with London Assembly members yesterday. The message was clear. Find a new mayor or watch London die. But here's what nobody's reporting. Charles also summoned the Archbishop of Canterbury. They discussed the moral implications of Khan's policies on London's poorest communities. The Archbishop later issued a statement calling the situation deeply troubling. When the Church of England turns against you, you're truly finished. Religious leaders across faiths are now speaking out. The chief rabbi mentioned families unable to attend synagogue. Muslim leaders highlighted the impact on Friday prayers. Khan has united every religion against him. The domino effect started within hours. London's FTSE index dropped 3.7% in morning trading. Property developers cancelled £4.2 billion in planned investments. International businesses are fleeing the capital. Google paused its King's Cross expansion. Goldman Sachs is moving 500 jobs to Frankfurt. The pound hit a 6-month low against the dollar. Polling showed Khan's approval rating at 19%, the lowest ever recorded for a London mayor. Even in Labour strongholds, support has evaporated. Hackney shows 73%. Want Khan gone. Tower Hamlets, his former fortress, has turned against him completely. The hashtag number Khan out trended globally for 47 hours straight. Protests erupted outside City Hall. Black cab drivers blocked Westminster Bridge. Small business owners marched on Downing Street. The Metropolitan Police reported 14 separate demonstrations in one day. London hasn't seen such unified anger since the poll tax riots. But here's the truly devastating part. Labour MPs are abandoning Khan like rats fleeing a sinking ship. David Lammy called the royal confrontation deeply regrettable. Diane Abbott said Khan should reflect carefully on his position. That's political code for resign immediately. Even Keir Starmer has gone silent. No supportive tweets, no solidarity statements, nothing. Sources inside Labour headquarters confirm Starmer views Khan as electoral poison. They're already discussing replacement candidates. The favourite is Stella Creasy, who's been notably critical of ULEZ expansion. Inside City Hall, complete pandemonium has erupted. Khan's deputy mayor, Jules Pipe, was overheard saying, "We're finished, absolutely finished." Senior advisors are updating their CVs. 3 department heads submitted resignations yesterday. WhatsApp groups called Survival Strategy have become exit planning. The atmosphere is described as apocalyptic by multiple sources. Khan allegedly threw his phone against the wall after seeing the polling. His chief of staff, Emma Best, was seen crying in the corridors. 20 years building his career, destroyed in 20 minutes, she told colleagues. Transport Commissioner Andy Lord refused to defend the mayor on BBC Newsnight. The head of communications deleted his Twitter account entirely. Nobody wants to go down with this. Sinking ship. Khan himself hasn't been seen publicly for 36 hours. His press team claims he's in meetings. But insiders say he's paralysed with rage. He keeps ranting about the monarchy being outdated, one aide revealed. That's not a winning message when 78% of Britons support King Charles. Security has been increased at City Hall after death threats. Khan's wife has reportedly left London for their own safety. His children have been pulled from school. The human cost of this political disaster is mounting. But here's the layer that could end Khan's career permanently. Leaked. Documents from Transport for London show something devastating. The ULEZ expansion was never about air quality. Internal emails reveal Khan knew pollution levels were already within legal limits. The real reason was revenue generation. TfL needed £2 billion to avoid bankruptcy. If these documents are real, and legal experts say they appear authentic, then Khan lied to millions of Londoners. Think about what that means. Every pensioner who sold their car, every small business that closed, every family forced out of London, all based on a lie designed to fill budget holes. The optics of that would be absolutely devastating. But wait, it gets worse. The leaked files show Khan's team discussed managing public perception through selective data presentation. They knew the science didn't support their claims. They buried reports showing minimal air quality improvement. They hired PR firms to create fear about pollution. This isn't just political deception, it's fraud on an industrial scale. Scotland Yard is reportedly considering an investigation. The Serious Fraud Office has been briefed. Khan could face criminal charges, not just political disgrace. Meanwhile, Conservative mayoral candidate Susan Hall is surging in the polls. While Khan hides in City Hall, Hall appears confident and ready. London needs leadership that respects both tradition and progress, she declared outside Westminster Abbey. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Khan isolated and raging, Hall calm and statesmanlike. For the first time since 2008, the Tories lead in London polling. Hall at 47%, Khan at 26%, others splitting the remainder. She isn't just competitive anymore, she's winning. Reform UK's London candidate Howard Cox is also gaining momentum. His promise to scrap ULEZ entirely has resonated with working-class voters. The anti-Khan coalition is building rapidly, but here's the shocking twist. Former Labour Mayor Ken Livingstone has emerged from retirement to condemn Khan. He's lost the plot completely, Livingstone said on LBC Radio. I expanded congestion charging. Carefully, Khan's declaring war on motorists. When Red Ken thinks you've gone too far left, you know you're finished. Boris Johnson couldn't resist commenting either. Even I wouldn't have picked a fight with the king, he quipped. The political establishment has turned Khan into a punchline. The next 72 hours are critical. An emergency London Assembly meeting is scheduled. No confidence motions are being prepared. If Khan loses that vote, although non-binding, the pressure becomes unbearable. The question is no longer whether Khan can win re-election, it's whether he'll survive. The week. Britain is watching the complete collapse of a political career in real time. This crisis will be studied for decades as the moment the monarchy reasserted itself. At its epicenter stands Sadiq Khan, who looks increasingly isolated, desperate and delusional. Not since Ken Livingstone has. London's seen such a spectacular political implosion. History will remember this as the week Khan's Green Revolution died. International media is calling it Britain's biggest constitutional crisis since the abdication. The New York Times ran a headline, London burns while its mayor fights the king. European leaders are watching nervously. If Charles can destroy Khan, what does that mean for constitutional monarchy elsewhere? So here's the question that matters. Is Khan's career over, or can he somehow survive? Did King Charles just save London from radical policies, or did he accidentally pose it create a constitutional crisis? What do you think? Will Khan resign before Christmas or fight to the bitter end? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if this story shocked you as much as it shocked us, share it with everyone who needs to see what's really happening in London right now. The mainstream media won't tell you the full truth, but we will. Tomorrow, we're covering Rishi Sunak's secret meeting with Donald Trump that could change everything about immigration.